The date was December 6th, 2022. After seeing gameplay of the classic PlayStation 2 Ratchet and Clank trilogy, I felt the desire to play through the series once again. Returning to a well-respected and accessible franchise like Ratchet and Clank shouldn't be an issue, right?
Wrong!
Little did I know that I was setting myself up for a task that would eat away at me and my mental well-being far more than I could ever have imagined. To start, I had assumed that I had held onto my copy of Ratchet and Clank, the HD collection, the 2012 physical re-release of the first 3 games with some better resolution and trophy support, though it did come with a few graphical hiccups. To me, I figured this is probably the best way to play the games in the modern era. I searched my game shelf for my disc, only to be hit by the first cold slap of reality. My copy isn't there. I assumed this to be an error. After all, I had recently moved. It wouldn't be out of the question that I just didn't unpack all of my game boxes. However, every box is accounted for. I have no games left to unpack. Somewhere along the way, Ratchet and Clank HD was misplaced. This isn't an issue, I tell myself. I can simply buy another one. It's the future! We have the internet!
We have technology!
It didn't work.
My first idea? Replace the copy that I have with another one. So, I head online to find it going for $100. Even more? This can't be right. I can find the Jak and Daxter collection going for less. By this point, I was in denial. Surely, there's a GameStop, some other secondhand store in the area that has it. I check again. There is nothing. I think and think and think some more. I do love this trilogy, but is it worth shelling out that much for in today's age? And then it struck me.
I like it, cut G.
The PlayStation Online store. If they had a copy of the game, then it wouldn't be nearly as pricey. The information I could glean from Google was tenuous at best, but I ended up finding some information, a website that had online prices for PS3 store games, but nothing had been updated for the past 4 years. The only way I could really know for sure was to check myself. Getting the PS3 set up out of storage, that was easy. I had all my boxes labeled properly, so I knew exactly where to find it. But when I was trying to connect to the internet via an Ethernet cable, it just didn't? Aha! Well, that's odd. Hopefully that's not a sign of things to come. I unplug everything and let it connect to the Wi-Fi, which it's thankfully still able to use. It's been a while since I've used the PS3, and it detected an update, so I let that run. The entire time it was going, I was just spending time thinking of how much fun the Ratchet and Clank series is. I especially like going commando. Oh, that one might be my favorite. With the update complete, I have to re-enter my account information into the PS3. Typing is slow. I forget the password. It comes back to me after the 3rd try, though. People really used to use the PS3 as a main console, huh? Super slow interface, everything takes forever. I guess it was new for the time. Finally, my moment was at hand. I could feel my heart rate increase. The storefront loaded, my palms were sweaty, knees weak, arms heavy.
Mom spaghetti!
Oh, there it is, my prize. Ratchet and Clank HD collection for PS3. It was here. It was cheap. I felt like I had truly beat the system. In my haste, I tried to purchase the game, but I'm hit with an error screen that I neglected to read in my search. The PS3 will no longer transfer funds into your account or charge your card on file. To make the purchase, I would have to add funds to my account first, and then proceed to purchase through the store. I'm at least happy with this knowledge that I've unearthed. The solution seems simple enough. All I have to do is go add funds on the PlayStation website, then go back to the PS3 and make my purchase. That seems easy enough, right? Logging onto the PlayStation website, I tried to add funds to my account, but I'm hit with an error. I couldn't add funds at this time? Of course. I was growing impatient. It was late. I didn't want this technical mishap to beat me. I had a thought. I turned off and unplugged the PlayStation 3. Because, I was cannibalizing the cords from my PS5. We've all done that. Plugging that back in, I got to the store and tried to add funds from that. Perfect. Quick. Easy. Efficient. I've solved all my problems. Unplugging the PS5 and heading back over to the PS3, I got back into the store and saw my digital wallet was bursting with enough money to make that purchase. This was worth it, I told myself, thinking that I had bested the challenge before me. And then I put my finger down on that purchase button. And it didn't work! Despite my efforts in having cash in the PlayStation wallet, the store was still attempting to run my saved card for some reason. I looked for a method for it to just take my cash. Don't pay with the card. I'm clearly not trying to. If that's not an option anymore, why make it an option? I took to the internet once more and found that the issue was that the PS3 would always ask to use the credit card on file first, regardless of what you told it to do. So the only way to circumvent this was by removing your card on file on the PlayStation website, so that you only had wallet funds, and then make your purchase. What was one last hurdle after the night that I've had? I removed my wallet from the website and then loaded the console back up one last time. I was determined. This was it. This was my moment. I had fought to get to this point, and damn it, I was going to beat this old digital storefront. Ratchet and Clank HD Collection. Purchase. Purchase accepted. Download. It was over. I had won. The collection had begun downloading 4 items, which I didn't find any issues with at first. There were probably some goodies included in the collection that I wasn't familiar with, and this is true. At the time of the collection's release, it was a Ratchet and Clank anniversary, so they offered some avatars and such for you to show off your love for the series. It also included a demo for the newest Sly Cooper game, which I'm sure worked out super well and ensured the series is still getting regular releases to this day. But wait, that's 2 items out of a 4-item download in a 3-game re-release. I checked the download manager. Anniversary avatars, Sly demo, Ratchet 1, Ratchet 3. Where is going, Commando? Never have I ever seen an error this severe. A product in a bundle just isn't there? I thought I was going crazy. Surely it was on my extensive download list, but no. My download list remained Ratchet and Clank 2-less. I didn't know what to do. I was tired. I felt like I did something wrong. Like this was a punishment from on high for trying to be clever and get this game for cheap. How does this sort of thing even happen? What do we do? Who do I turn to? Through the fog, I have one clear thought. The PlayStation website. Yes, I can see it clearly. While I was fidgeting with my wallet, there it was. The Customer Support tab. For those unaware, the Sony Customer Support chat has 2 main pillars. The automated chat, which I'm sure is supposed to help people with daily issues and whatnot, and is very important. But this isn't something that could be answered by a bot. I needed answers. That left the other pillar, the human element. I needed to make sure that Ratchet 2 would get there eventually. I'd settle for that right now. I start up the chat, and am met with loading, telling me that I would be placed in a waiting queue for as long as it needed. With nothing left to do, I waited. And waited. And waited. And waited. Curiously, I wondered how long it made other people wait on average. I looked it up. The times were much faster than what I had been experiencing. And as it turns out, the PlayStation website is not really happy to work with Firefox, which might explain my wallet issues from earlier. There's only one solution. I have to re-download Chrome and attempt to start a customer support process from there. After getting that set up, and logging back into the PlayStation account again, I attempt to contact customer support chat. And that was when he appeared. The man that I was greeted by was kind, professional, and empathetic. His compassion for humanity was a well that seemed bottomless, as if he was sent from on high to deliver us to a better place, and yet was stuck working a customer service job. And his name was... Big Jeezy took my case on with a kindness and understanding befitting of his title, and betraying experiences I've had with similar services in the past. He apologized for the inconvenience and empathized with my struggles. We talked about some of the games that we've played over the years while they ran a search on what could be the problem. He was also a big fan of Shadow of the Colossus. Seeing it as a missing game in a trilogy bundle was a big deal, but unable to find the cause of the issue at the time. Juck E. Cheese assured me that he was going to make this an important case and that I should expect some kind of message or resolution back within the next few days. And if I didn't, I would have no issues checking back in. To his credit, I believe he meant every single word he said. Every day I diligently check back on the download list for the PlayStation Store, just as our Lord and Savior foretold. But every day my faith begins to wane. I try to check back in with customer support ticket that I filed with, but the automated system spits me back out for coming back too quickly and ensures me that the issue will be taken care of in the coming days.
Would I lie?
I begin to feel alone and silly. Who could understand what I was possibly going through in my time of need? Days later, my partner tells me that they found a Reddit thread talking about the same issues that I've been having with Ratchet 2. Surely I could find some answers here, amongst my people. I read through the thread created by user Lieutenant Sugar, gleaning small nuggets of information from the people struggling alongside me, my community. From what I could gather, the store, or more specifically, Ratchet 2, broke on November 15th when the Ratchet and Clank series was added to the PlayStation Plus Premium membership, the additional service through PlayStation Plus that allowed you to stream games to your PlayStation 5. Now, there's nothing I hate more than cloud-based games that you don't actually own, so while I knew this thing was an option from the beginning, I didn't think it was worth spending the $119.99 to not even own Ratchet and Clank. I will die on that hill. Some users advocated for getting a refund, but at this point I was already too invested. I needed to see this through to the end. I needed the complete Ratchet and Clank HD collection on my PS3 for the principle of the thing. For days I would check back in the download manager, hoping in vain that JC and the Electric G would pull through for me, but it seemed like nothing was working. Almost a week passed. I decided that my only choice was to attempt the customer service chat again. I remained in the waiting queue for quite a long time. I'm tired of doing this song and dance. I had hoped that since the last time I talked to somebody, they would have had a better idea of what was going on, but my confidence was wearing thin. Finally, I get somebody on the other end. It's not Jesus CC. Rather, it's a new agent. She's not as kind and understanding of my situation as he was. Her solution to the problem was to pay the $120 to receive the PlayStation Premium membership and stream the games to my PS5. I tell her that that's not an acceptable solution.
Excuse me. I have to go end it all.
She informs me that all that she can do is increase the priority of this issue. Defeated, I accept and tell her to do it.
Do it!
However, before she's able to log off, I ask her if she's aware of this issue, as I have discovered many people are also struggling with this same problem. She tells me that she is very aware of the problem. To me, this is a spark of hope. Maybe I should just bide my time. Be patient. Make some lemonade out of these lemons. Being resourceful and looking on the bright side of things, I figured I could have a little fun with the situation while I waited for Going Commando to be fixed on the PlayStation Store. Though the first game in the series isn't my favorite, and in truth I feel is aged pretty poorly just by being associated with the sequels, being in a 7 out of 10 game in a franchise of 10s is nothing to sneeze at. I hatched a plan. I would stream the first game and tell my story as a cautionary tale. And, playing with an audience would be a new way for me to experience the game as well. It had been a while since I've done anything like this, but I was sure I could remember how to set up all the equipment. The next day, I was all set to go. I had hooked up the PlayStation 3 to the computer, everything looked clean on the monitor, the clock was winding down to showtime. I was ready. Until I opened up the Elgato game capture software. Hubris. That is all I can assume that this has become. What a fool I was to try and play such a game in such a manner. A jester in a court of kings, forgetting my place and thinking that I could go about my business uninhibited. Anytime I opened the game capture software, the screen would just go blank, as if it were trying to avoid the program itself. In actuality, that's really what was happening. The PlayStation 3 was built with that in mind. The HDMI cable is protected by HDCP, or High Bandwidth Digital Content Protection. The idea behind it makes sense. In an age of streaming content through programs like Netflix or Hulu or the like, the ability to stream would make it so that pirating content through these services would be all too easy, many not allowing even the ability to screenshot on applicable devices. Of course, I would never publicly advocate the act of pirating digital media, especially not when it's getting more and more difficult to play said media on your most up-to-date devices. But I digress. The Elgato game capture software knows how big of an issue this is, something I had forgotten from not streaming or recording any PS3 footage in years. Thankfully, this was something that the Elgato people thought of, including a special cable with their device that was specifically designed to get around this little issue, and god fucking damn it! When buying equipment secondhand, it is always important to make sure that it comes with all of its cables, lest you succumb to a similar fate to me. No matter what, it was clear that I couldn't stream even Ratchet 1 that day. I was disheartened and defeated. With nothing left to do, I played Bug Fables. It was alright, but I wanted to play Ratchet. I still just want to play Ratchet. When the stream ended, I took to the internet to try to find a replacement cable, thinking that at least this would be the easiest thing to fix. What I didn't anticipate was that this video cable that I was in the market for was almost $50, and the official Elgato cable was going for $60. Surely this was a mistake. I had to have just been looking in the wrong place for the wrong item, but no. These are the best prices that I could find. Not only that, but as I hovered over the purchase button on Amazon, a cold pang shot through my body. This wasn't an official Elgato cable. What if I waited to get it and only to find out that it didn't work with the Elgato? Knowing my luck lately, that would be the case, and I decided not to push it. Instead, I took to eBay and shelled out the $60 for the official cable. A piece of me dies on the inside. The cable comes in. At this point, I don't feel joy. It's just another day of not playing Ratchet and Clank 2. I want to stream, but I simply just don't have the energy. There's too many what-ifs. I'm tired of this. My daily routine has turned into a cycle of checking to see if anything has happened on the PlayStation Store, the subreddit, anything at all. Time passes. Depression sets in. It's 3 a.m. The date is January 14th, 2023. The time, 3 a.m. I'm scrolling through my Twitter when I happened upon a post from Insomniac Games themselves. They ask, "What are you playing this weekend?" Hashtag Ratchet20, celebrating Ratchet and Clank's 20th anniversary. In the post, they show a video of Going Commando's title screen. It sears my heart. They mock me, taunting me with what I don't have. Interestingly, they seem to be responding to any and all comments about what's being played, whether it's an Insomniac game or not. I get an idea. A cringe idea, but it was crazy enough for me to try. I replied to the post, saying that I wanted to download and play Ratchet and Clank Going Commando HD on the PS3, but it seems to be broken on the store. It's totally unavailable. I wanted to be nice. I knew that this wasn't some Insomniac employee's problem. I fully expected them to ignore the post after all. Why call attention to something like that? But to my shock, they did respond. Even more shocking, they did it so quickly. They said, "We're aware of the issue, and we're looking into it." It wasn't much, but it was validating. And after so long, I craved nothing more. As it turned out, many members of the subreddit had the idea to contact Insomniac Games support staff. In doing so, they let Insomniac themselves know of the problem, thinking that if they knew, they could pressure Sony into expediting a fix. The date is January 20th, 2023. While running through my daily routine, I decide to check the PlayStation 3 store, and much to my shock, I'm able to download Ratchet and Clank 2 Going Commando. Son of a bitch. They actually did it. Initially, the purpose of this video was to document the utter conga of events that transpired and brought me to this point. At first I wanted to see if my lazy procrastinating style could produce a video before the store was fixed, while also highlighting how crazy of a ride it was getting here. I have no idea how much work it took behind the scenes to actually fix the storefront, but I sure am glad that they did that instead of having the only option to play the Ratchet and Clank series be the PlayStation Premium subscription service. Digital storefronts and digital media itself is so difficult to keep track of. The threat of losing media any time that someone decides to cut servers or services is a constant looming issue. It's why I never like hearing about companies thinking that they should go all digital on their next console. In my opinion, we should always have the option of physical media. I didn't expect to get all preachy about the preservation of media at the end here, but good God, I've been through so much just to get to the whole story of this funny little Lombax and his funnier, littler robot. Friends, I just wanted to thank you all for coming on this journey with me. While personally I thought it would have been hilarious if I had been able to get this video out before the store was fixed, I am actually very happy that things are kind of back to normal. Now what are you doing here? Go! The best Ratchet games are on the PlayStation 3 now. Go, go, go! I'll see you next time. Get out of here.